This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're going to be talking about the Tropicfeel Smart Packing Cube 10 liter, which I've been testing for the past 2 weeks. Let's dive in. So on the exterior here we have recycled polyester and recycled nylon. In the interior is a recycled polyester and then just some standard new manufacturer polyester. So nice durable materials here, no issues there. The zippers are YKK number 5 model, no issues at all with those. They have the same zipper pulls here as the Nest backpack does, a little paracord like material and then heat shrunk plastic. So no issues with hardware or materials on this thing. It really holds up well. It's meant to go on the exterior of the Nest backpack, which we have a full review of if you want to watch that. But it also matches the colorway of the Nest that we have. This is the desert green, and there's also 3 other colorways as well. But jumping on to, we'll jump inside first actually. So you can see here this opens like a clamshell opening. We have 2 different sides here. So this is a compressible packing cube. So this is the compressed side here. As you can see, it's a lot thicker. And then this is just kind of like the top flap, if that makes sense. We have a little hook here. So this hook is good to hang on pretty much, anything it can fit onto. It's a half moon or half circle. So it does have some pretty good coverage. I do wish that it had a clip though. If it had a clip, it would just make it a lot easier so it wouldn't fall off, especially if you're using it in a car or somewhere where it is getting moved around, or if you're just having it hanging where people are moving around, that way it won't get knocked off. But very durable little hanger and no issues to report with it other than that. On this side, we have 2 mesh pockets there. You can see they're split down the center here. So I like to have socks on one side and then underwear on the other side. You can see just the size there, but with my hand fitting inside, it runs to the top and bottom and then halfway there. So socks on one side and then underwear on the other. And or something what you can do too, if you're going on a shorter trip and you don't have as much stuff, you can fill up one side with socks and underwear and then put dirties on the other side as you go. Just important to remember which side is which, so that way you're not wearing dirty socks and underwear. But pretty basic on that side, and this side is where the fun happens. So this is another kind of clamshell opening that flops open like that. And inside here we have lots of this stretchy, like elastic material, which is kind of one of Tropicfeel's go-to materials on their backpacks and also inside this packing cube. So on this side we have these 2 pieces that come together like an X. And this is good for larger clothes that won't fit inside this side over here, this little diagonal side. Like a sweatshirt, or if you have a towel like this. This is a Nomadics ultralight towel, which doesn't actually take up the whole space, but fits in there nicely. The thing about what fits here is you can't overhang. So if it's overhanging the zipper, it can't close. And you really want to be able to close that to add some separation here and just to make it more compressible, because this is a compressible packing cube. So in here right now, I've got a pair of pants, pair of shorts, and then this 3 shirts in here. So that's, not maybe a weekend full of clothes or similar like that, depending how you pack, depending how you reuse clothes. Everyone dresses differently, obviously. So this is a zigzag pattern. So like this one goes this way, then that way, then that way, then that way. So something I think is important to note, that if you have this fully packed like I do right now, and you pull something out of the middle, it's really hard to get something back into that zag in the zigzag now that you pulled that out of there. So getting something back into this one, because it is surrounded by clothes, is more difficult. And you can kind of put them in here how you think you're going to wear them, but again, like that is not optimal. But it does work. It's just not nearly as pretty as it was as if you do it one by one by one by one by one. So I'm going to show you how this compresses first, so I don't have to put all these back in afterwards, just so you can kind of see. So there is a second zipper that runs all the way around, here it is, all the way around the pack. So it goes like this. And now, as you can see, there's a lot more room there. You got a couple, that's probably about 3 inches, maybe 2.5 inches of extra space. And now you can see that this kind of comes up more around it, and there's just a lot more space to work with. So when you're loading this up, there is more space, which makes it a little bit easier. And then when you go to compress it, there's less space and it's harder to use. So I'll zip this up, just show you how I compressed it. So you zip the top flap there. And then you find the zipper here. and you just start going. In the beginning, it's easy, but it kind of gets harder as you go. It's not as packed as it was, but I find it's good to have your hand on the zipper with one arm and then the other arm kind of pushed down to make it the job of the zipper that much easier. But as you go, as I said, it does get harder. And then sometimes the material from the inside there kind of gets a little bit stuck on there. But that was pretty easy given how much I have in there. But I just wanted to show you guys how that works so you can kind of get a better idea of what it will look like after you or as you're compressing it. But back into this main compartment now, I wanted to just take the clothes out so you can see what it looks like without them in there. See the zigzag that I was talking about earlier. So here is that zigzag. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different things. So I believe I was just using 5 of the 6. So one was not being used with all those clothes in there. But as you can see, it's kind of like the seams on a football, or I can't remember what they're called right now. The word is escaping me, but the top of a football, like the stitching. And it's a cool design because they don't really get in the way of each other. If it was just one straight line, it would be a little bit harder to find them because it's hard to explain without showing visually, but it would just be kind of harder to get to the individual little sections. But I think this design does work well. As I said, it can be hard to get specific things in and out of the middle, but overall, not a ton of issues using it. And it's good for, like I said, a weekend or even a week if you aren't opposed to wearing things more than once, or if you bring lots of light clothes, because the more light clothes you bring, the more you'll be able to fit inside of here. But overall, very happy with this. We do have a couple attachment loops on the outside here, which help it attach into the Nest backpack here. Just show you that real quick. So this slides into the spider webbing, and then these go through here and attach onto this. Oh, I'm trying to go quick and I'm not doing the best job here. So there's that. And then on the other side, the same thing. You don't necessarily have to go through these little loops, but it does help. So now that is integrated into the Nest backpack. It's obviously a little harder when it's completely full, but when I had that completely full in the Nest review with all that stuff, it did fit. But it does integrate nicely into this backpack, and it also works well on its own. Especially I like it a lot for road trips because you can kind of just have all your clothes in there, and then if you have a day pack or something like that, that can hold the rest of your gear. But there you have it, the Tropicfeel Smart Packing Cube 10 liter. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.